Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's good to see each and every one of you. First off, I'm home. I'm at Livingstone College. People get down here. What's up, beautiful people? Good to see all my beautiful people here today. All my LC students that's in class. Make sure you're paying attention to your professor. Taking notes. Getting ready for y'all end of the semester exams. I know my seniors ready to get up out of here, though. I already know they are ready to get up out of here. First, let me thank your 93rd president, Justin Wayne, the founder and the host of the Forward Focus Confernce. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you to Charlie Collins, his vice president, and the entire administration. Thank you to the advisors, the staff, Dr. Jenkins, the 12th president of Livingstone College, and those are all to the students, because without the students, there is no Livingstone College.
That's it.
There is no college at all. There is no institutions without students. But I came here to talk about public speaking. If anybody remember this quote, closed mouths don't get fed. I don't know if your auntie, your grandma, your cousin, mama, Nim, next door neighbor ever told you this, but closed mouths don't ever get fed. So we started thinking about this, and we started analyzing this quote. Closed mouths don't get fed. If I was to be honest with you tonight, this morning, this afternoon, depending on what hour you are in the world, because this is going to go global. So we got to, make sure we do the time zones. This deals with public speaking. Closed mouths don't get fed. Now, I have two questions for you. And I'm going to come down here. I don't really like being on no stage. I'm going to be honest. I don't like, I like being close to the people.
Right.
Stages throw me out.
He's not speaking.
Bam, there we go. We got it. We good. Bam. So I got two key questions. Who has closed mouths? Who has them? We ain't even gonna worry about it. Let it drop. Who has closed mouths? And why closed mouths should be open? Why should closed mouths be open? So let's look at the first question. Who has closed mouths? Each and every one of us. If I was to be real with you tonight, we all have had, been in Walmart, Target, getting school supplies, and it was one thing you didn't tell your parents that you needed. And then they look at you when they get to the school and the teacher say, did you get that textbook? No. Your mama, Nim, looking at you, closed mouths don't get fed. Or when you was real hungry at the house, you didn't want to ask nobody for nothing. You just sitting in your room. Oh, Lord, I'm hungry. I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, if you don't open your mouth and speak, how do people know you need something? That's public speakers. If they don't open their mouth, if they don't motivate you from a preacher to a motivational speaker to a professor, if they never open their mouth, how do we learn? How are you sitting here without somebody opening their mouth? Matter of fact, how you get the job that you got if you don't open your mouth? Because you got to go to an interview.
You have to.
Virtually, in person, on the phone. Each and every one of us. And I told y'all I was going to step on y'all toes. See, it's even the people, they always got something to say, but they ain't even talking about nothing.
Not a thing.
They not talking about nothing about it. They just talking just to be talking. And you finally ask them, what you talking about?
What? What are you saying? Because we don't know.
And it sound like the good old Charlie Brown that's about to come on during Christmas time, and it sound like this. Wah-wah, wah-wah, wah-wah.
Because they ain't saying nothing.
What are you talking about?
Nothing.
Let me just be real. We love the ladies, but we don't want to hear about the ladies all the time, right? Ladies, I know y'all love y'all dudes, but we don't want to hear about that all the time. Let me talk more plain to you. We don't want to hear about what me and Neil doing on Twitter all the time and how his payroll ain't coming correct. I'm just going to keep it real. We talk about everything else, but we do not talk about the things that matter.
At all. At all, Charles.
People just be running their mouth. Well, you know LeBron James. Stop worrying about what LeBron James doing. He got his own life.
Oh.
But you ain't talking about what's happening in your closet and in your house.
Don't have
But I'm going to leave that alone.
Well.
So every one of us got a closed mouth and an open mouth. I'm going to keep it real. I used to be the one with the closed mouth, never talk about nothing. Didn't want to talk about nothing. Matter of fact, some folks told me I wasn't going to be nothing.
You see what I'm saying?
I even thought it myself because I had so much of a closed mouth.
Can't hear nobody.
Closed mouth folks. See, I gotta go country because I'm at my HBCU, so I can talk like I'm from here before. You know, I can be a little bit ungrammarly here. You know, ungrammarly, yeah.
Make it up, Charles.
I'm making it up as I go. New words. So I told you I'm home. I'm gonna act like I'm home. You know, we make up words out of the PV, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
My God.
We make up words out on the PV. Matter of fact, we'll make up words making a rap song.
Don't talk about nothing.
But that's all closed mouth folks. And see, here's another thing about closed mouth folks.
What about it?
They think they know it all. Have you ever had somebody, no matter where you go, what you doing, what you talking about? Now, it's good that they know stuff. It's great, beautiful, wonderful that they know stuff. But I don't want to hear your opinion on everything. I don't need to hear that you don't like the preacher.
You a prophet.
I don't want to hear that you don't like this professor because the professor is telling you the truth about you.
You a prophet.
I don't want to hear all the time that, oh, my advisor always telling me I need to go to this class. I need to do this class.
You a prophet. I'll tell you that right now.
But you need to hear it.
You in the
Because you think you know it all. I was there. I'm talking about me. See, this whole workshop is really about me. I don't care if nobody up in here. I'm talking to myself this morning.
Listen, you hear me?
Because this was me. This was me.
Okay.
I was talking about everything, think I knew everything about everybody, and I looked in the mirror and said, hold up. I need to look at me and talk about me.
And what did you say?
That's the first. Every one of us. Even the quiet person that think that's shy, oh, they got something to say.
They do.
They got something to say. Don't get it twisted. Please don't get it twisted and think they ain't got nothing to say. Matter of fact, make them mad.
We in here, dog.
Make them mad.
Yeah.
And you know what? All that church stuff, because you know shy people go to church too. Loud people go to church. Since I'm at a church school, A.M.E. Zion, you know, let's get the historical context so people know that this is an A.M.E. Zion school.
My God.
Even church folks think they know it all. So that's your second question. Why should closed mouths be open? Remember, everybody got a closed mouth. Everybody open their mouth. Let me ask you a question. How do you eat? How many people done ate with their mouth closed? It's only, and let me just, for all my correct people, let me be correct. There are other ways you can eat without opening your mouth. But most of us know you are usually in a hospital bed or a hospice bed when you do.
Now, that's good.
Now, I just got to be educated for a second. I need to let you know I did a little research on this, and I am just a little bit educated.
Ooh, that was good. That was so good.
But here's your first reason to the second question. The reason you should open your mouth.
Ooh, that was so good.
Because you got something to say.
Well,
See, you may be talking about everything else and everybody else, but somewhere in your mind and heart, you're going to get hold up. I really got something to say. If I was to be real about it, this is the point that I struggle with the most. Because I had a speech impediment. Anybody that had a name with an S or a R, I couldn't say it. From 6 years old to 10 years old, I couldn't even say my sister's name, y'all. My sister's name is Tioni. All I could say was Oni. That's it. And people are like, well, you're a good speaker now. Because I found out I had something really to say. While yes, that was cool talking to the ladies, being a player. That player run out real quick.
my God.
While it's cool talking about sports and all, that's cool. Yeah, all right, whatever. But when I started finding out I need to talk about the black injustice going on, I need to start talking about education. If this little dude really want to be a doctor, I need to show him that not only can you be a doctor, but you can go further than me. See, sometimes you got to go further than your own, what your community look like. We look at our community, step outside. I ain't going to be nothing today. But if I was to go to church for a second, life and death lies in the power of the tongue.
Reverend.
So while you speaking death over your life, you trying to figure out what those times. Well, guess what? You keep speaking to death, so sometimes the Bible ain't that hard, y'all. Sometimes it's just simple text in there. Life and death. That's simple. It's in your mouth.
My God.
You getting mad. All these folks getting blessings. I ain't getting them. Well, look at your attitude. Why are you so negative? Say that you can be what you want to be when you grow up. That's what my mama told me. Say you can be what you want to be. Everybody telling me, they got a 4.0 GPA, but I don't. What are you doing what you need to do?
Are you
saying that I want the 4.0 GPA so you can get the 4.0 GPA? Everybody got something to say.
They don't want to help you.
But you got to find out what's important to you. Ooh, I'm about to get real juicy with this one.
Go ahead, Charles. Go ahead.
Somebody tell me anywhere in history where we had change politically, justice-wise, where people had their mouth closed. Don't worry, I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. King.
My God. Call the roll.
Malcolm X.
Call the roll, Charles. Call the roll.
Harriet Tubman.
Well.
Nat Turner. I can keep going. Barack Obama. I can name them all. Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
I can go down your street. Mean Mill. Mean Mill been doing social justice. Everybody talking about his music and everything, but don't even realize they're doing social justice in Philadelphia. But I don't need that alone.
Listen to me.
Nowhere in history have people been quiet. Some of us here at Livingstone College is here at this college now because closed mouths opened and kept fighting for what was right.
That's good, Charles.
Nowhere in history.
Nowhere.
Has anybody made change with their mouth closed.
God.
I need y'all to be watching this court case. Watch these verdicts. Nowhere in the trials of history
Charles, you
did
are
people
good.
move with a closed mouth.
Nowhere in history.
Now for all the church people that say, well, this ain't got nothing to do with me. He ain't talking about scripture. He ain't talking about the text. He ain't talking about the Bible. Well, let me go down your street. Let me go down Church Street for a second. Tell me anywhere in the Bible where Jesus was closed mouthed trying to help them. Tell me anywhere in history all the prophecies that happened that they had closed mouths. Matter of fact, Jesus went to the cross saying something.
Yes, he did. Now, Charles, don't get me happy.
Jesus went to the cross saying something. So, clearly, nowhere in history folks has had closed mouths. Nowhere in the time of history anyone had closed mouths. Miss Livingstone is up in here, good to see you. Guess what? If she never opened her mouth that she wanted to be Miss Livingstone, she would not do it right now.
She wouldn't have won.
Matter of fact, I even told her at the conference, you need to run.
And she got that day. My God.
Because nowhere in the times of history
Nowhere, Charles. Nowhere.
have people made change closing their mouth.
Nowhere. That's on Facebook.
Now, you're going to try to figure out how Livingstone College is going to stay open.
Help us.
Well, students, I came to tell you, if you don't start opening your mouth, it ain't going to be no Livingstone College. I don't care how many alum it is. You need to open your mouth. You need to give back to your institution. I don't care if you're at Livingstone, Winston-Salem State, Lower Cabarrus, Fayetteville State, Morehouse, Stanford, UCLA. If you're walking around here all mad, angry, ticked off all the time, talking about they ain't doing nothing. They ain't making no changes. How about you look at the video and say, have you opened your mouth?
Charles, talk about what I said yesterday.
Have you opened your mouth? Have you said something? Have you decided to move on something? Because here's your last point. When you start to open your mouth and start talking about what's real and what people need to hear, folks ain't got no choice but to listen. They didn't have no choice but to listen to Dr. King, John Lewis, Malcolm X. They didn't have no choice. Their voices was loud. Sometimes your voice gotta be loud. You can't be cool, calm, and collective all the time. Sometimes you gotta get loud. Sometimes you gotta be edgy. But it's okay. Because when you start to open your mouth, people will listen. People will listen. You want to know why? Because when Miss Livingstone said she wanted to be Miss Livingstone, I closed my mouth and I listened. Hello. Sometimes you got to close your mouth and open your ears sometimes and just listen to folk.
You better say it.
Sometimes they'll tell you what they're going through without even telling you what they're going through.
That's good.
Sometimes we don't even know folks is struggling because we so talking about everything else that we don't even listen to the fact that they saying they ain't got food and they don't. They mama done walked out on them. Right here, the HBCUs is happening all the time. Because going back to that second point, we always talking about stuff that don't matter and missing the stuff that do matter. You miss scholarships because you're talking about stuff that don't matter.
I'm talking about missed something.
You miss a whole scholarship. You miss a conference because you're talking about stuff that don't matter. You miss your whole blessing because you're talking about stuff that don't even matter. But it's important to understand, while you're talking about it, closed mouths don't get fed. Closed mouths don't get fed. So now, what is this thing about public speaking? What is public speaking? Because I know y'all like, he doing the art of public speaking, but what is it? So I did do a little research. Y'all can fact check me on this. But what I decided to do was I put the two definitions together because I think they sounded better together than apart. And here's the deep definition of public speaking. You know, they get deep when they get these definitions and they put them in, the dictionary, thinking they all educated. Not realizing you got to translate words from Hebrew to Latin to all these other translations before you get to this word, but we ain't even going to get into that history lesson. But public speaking is this: the act, art, or process of effective oral communication with an audience. The act, art, or process of effective oral communication with an audience. For most people, they don't even realize. At HBCUs, yeah, we having real life conversations. Yeah, we're talking about the cases that's going on, the court cases. Because guess what? We in North Carolina, we in the South. Yes, we're talking about what's happening in Georgia. Yes, we're talking about how can we better our family and the next generation. Everybody always talk about, well, they don't talk about nothing in HBCUs. Yeah, we do. If you be quiet and listen, you're hearers. Matter of fact, if you just come check us out, bring your cameras here, you'll see students going to class. But what you'll rather do is talk about the boy that done shot somebody and then all the cameras is there. Because it's the art, the act, and the process. What audience? Who's your audience? See, I knew my audience was college students. So you got to know your audience. You got to know it's an art. You got to know it's a process. Who are you talking to? So I got 5 drop the mic steps for you. 5 mic the drop steps. First off, you got to have a topic. For most of us, we want to talk. Well, what's the topic?
What you talking about?
For all my freshmen that's taking public speaking right now, because it is a class you have to take, let me give you a word to the wise that some professors won't even tell you until they give you that first public speaking assignment. Please make sure you have a topic. Have a topic. Have a topic. How you going to talk about something without a topic? We see that on CNN, Fox, ABC. Some folks just get on there and you just been looking at them on the news sitting there. What in the world is the topic? What are you talking about? What is the topic? Then you got to know your audience. You got to know your audience. If your audience is a bunch of middle school, high school, and college students, don't come up in here being dry and bored. Because let me tell you what the middle schoolers, high schoolers, and college students going to tell you. You bored. They're going to go to sleep on you, or they're going to walk up out of on you. You got to know your audience. If your audience is a bunch of elderly folks, wise folks, you got to talk like you wise. That you're educated a little bit. Know your audience. Please study and go over what you're talking about.
Study that thing.
Matter of fact, some of y'all need to be studying before this these exams. Some of y'all need to really be looking at your notes and trying to ask your professor, can you bring that grade up? Because you've been missing classes and you've been missing homework assignments and projects. But I ain't going to talk about it. I'm going to let your advisor and your professor talk about it. That ain't my conversation.
Charles! Yes, sir. That's so good.
Some of y'all need to go study. Matter of fact, some of y'all need to go see these tutors. They got 4.0s and ask them how you get a 4.0.
My God.
It's good to ask questions and get help. Y'all think public speakers don't ask questions and get help. We get help. We ask questions.
My God, Charles.
And they ain't going to get mad at the student government and Mr. Brown and Miss Livingstone because you got a 1.0 GPA.
Oh, 1. That's...
Because you didn't study and go over your notes.
Ooh, my God. A 1, Charles.
Here's the first one. You got to deliver. You got to deliver. You ever notice when you order food, this one got good here. Because when I was doing this point, I was actually ordering food. Matter of fact, I was ordering pizza.
My God.
That pizza was good too. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. That vegetable pizza was good.
My God.
But you got to deliver. And when the delivery man came, I was sitting there thinking outside, I had one of these visions. Daggone, could you imagine ordering food all the time and they never deliver?
I'm talking about never. Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine your mama telling you she's going to do something for you and she don't deliver? Okay, I got to go down to Church Street. Could you imagine if Jesus never would have delivered on the promises of the Old Testament? Because if he never would have went to the cross, he never would have fulfilled the Old Testament. But I'm going to let the preachers preach on that.
My God.
He had to deliver. Sometimes you just got to deliver. It's not that you the best. It's not that they picked you. So deliver. Expect you to deliver on what you're going to do. Because you want that food delivered. Matter of fact, if we was on DoorDash, if that food don't come by 7:58, we call it a delivery driver. With my food, it said it was going to be here by 7:58. Well, Livingstone College students, if you ain't at the gate when it get here, it ain't there by 7:58. But I'll leave that alone. I'll let y'all learn that lesson. So here's your fifth one. Here's your fifth one. Once you do all of that, you reflect.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to reflect.
Reflect.
When I get home, I'm going to reflect on this. I'm going to reflect on what I did today. Sometimes you got to reflect on where you come from, too. Sometimes you got to reflect on where you want to go.
Yeah.
It's good to reflect on the past, but it's a beautiful thing when you can reflect on the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You have to reflect. And every time I go somewhere, I have to give you something to think about. And something to think about is so simple. When you decide to open your mouth, the movement will happen. When you decide to open your mouth, the movement will happen. What about if Dr. King would have never opened his mouth? I bet you we ain't never thought about it because we said so pretty now. You know, we're in this, global society where, we can go to the mall, we can eat at any restaurant, we can do all these types of things. Mm-hmm. Not realizing, what if the folks never went to Greensboro and sat in that dime?
What if?
What if the people that built Livingstone College with their own hands never would have built it? Matter of fact, you wouldn't have no Livingstone College, you wouldn't have no D9 organizations on this campus, you wouldn't have students going to classrooms, you wouldn't have students graduating with degrees and going on with jobs if they did not open their mouth and start the movement. So my real question as I leave you, what you gonna open your mouth? When you gonna open your mouth and start your movement? When are you going to open your mouth and start your movement? Because while it's great being the public speaker,
it's great.
It's great being the pastor, it's great being the professor, it's great being the advisor and telling you what you need to do. We come to HBCUs to get in positions so where we can tell other people what they need to do. So, when you going to open your mouth, and when you open it, make sure you have a movement. Because remember, closed mouths don't ever get fed. Thank you so much.
Give it up for Charles White one more time. Come on, y'all, give it up for Charles White one more time. There you go. Thank you. Charles, we appreciate you, man, for your hard work, and I, as you all could hear, I enjoyed that presentation because a lot of truth was dropped on us today. So that concludes our morning session for today, this evening. Again, at 7 o'clock, we will be having our worship, and we will have Reverend Julian Thompson, my brother and friend, coming to share with us tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. The challenge that I gave on last evening's worship experience, I give again. Bring somebody with you. If you know that somebody is in need of a word from God, you know that someone needs to hear what God has to say, invite them to come and share in our worship experience tonight and in our morning sessions as well. These sessions are for our holistic growth and holistic development. So again, tonight at 7, we have Reverend Julian Thompson. We want to also thank God so much for how God used Charles to really bless us and minister to us in his own way. And so we ask you to continue to support the conference, share the flyer, grab a program on the outside if you do not have one, and we look forward to seeing you tonight. Be blessed.